Everybody, you know who it is, Pastor Troy Wynn Sr. Today is Saturday, January the 28th, 2023, and I need to have a conversation with real grown men. And I use the word grown loosely because today I'm going to say something that is long overdue, and I've said it before because I keep saying it over and over again, but I've got to say it again and I got to keep saying it again. Because men, as fathers, so many of us are dropping the ball. And I'm not talking about dropping the ball marginally. I'm talking about dropping the ball horrifically. And you need to understand something, that if you are a father, I am talking to you today, man to man, father to father. And I want to be the voice that your children may not have because they may be too young or they may not have the vocabulary to articulate what it is that needs to be said. But as a father, as a pastor, as a transformation coach, as a brother to other men, as a mentor to other men, I'm seeing something way too frequently, way too often that is a tragedy, that is unnecessary, and really it's uncivilized. I'm talking about fathers who have young children, babies, sons and daughters, and you're not being a father. Not a good one. You're not being supportive. You're not being financially there. You're not being emotionally there. You have made a child, a baby. You've created another human being with a human being, and you have walked away, literally, washed your hands, and found yourself to be more involved with the PlayStation or smoking weed than you are with the development, the nurturing, the provision and the protection of your seeds. And as men, we have to do better. And I don't expect for this message to be embraced by some men. I don't expect to be applauded by many men. But I do believe that there are some men that just need another man to have the courage to step to them face to face, mano a mano, and say, bruh, shame on you. And I'm your huckleberry. I'm that guy. I have nothing to lose. I'm not afraid of you. And neither should you be afraid of me, because we are brothers. We are men. And we've been given the responsibility of nurturing and providing and raising and teaching the next generation. But far too many of us as men have opted out and have tapped out. And we are the worst fathers that have possibly ever lived in the generation of fathers. You say, well, Pastor Troy, I'm not one of the worst fathers because I don't molest my child and I don't beat my child and I don't do anything harmful to my child. And although that may be true in one aspect, you certainly are doing damage by not being a role model. You're doing damage by not being an inspiration. You're doing damage by not being present and prolific in your child's life. And I get it because I see it every day. And I'm not new to this, I'm true to this. Far too many of our fathers are making weed decisions. Yeah, you're more committed to rolling blunts and smoking weed and getting high. And that is your life. And that decision actually controls all other decisions in your life. And you want to tell others that your smoking weed is not an addiction. That is something that you can quit whenever you get ready. When you'd rather smoke weed than work a job that would pay you so that you could take care of your family, take care of your children, and you don't want that. You just rather sit home and smoke weed and play PlayStation or play your little Xbox. You got to understand something. That's not manhood. That is not manhood in any way, shape, form, or fashion. That is more boyhood than it is manhood, because boys are oblivious to responsibility. Boys will always choose play, come on, over purpose. And I need you, if you're a father, to understand something. You don't need to be making weed decisions. You need to be making need decisions. Come on, Pastor Troy. I'll say it again. You don't need to be making weed decisions. You need to be making need decisions. What's a need decision? What do your children need? What do your sons and your daughters need right now from you? What do they need you to do? What do they need you to provide? What do they need you to say and speak into their lives? You can't make weed decisions and be a great father. Fathers have to make need decisions. I need to work a job. Don't matter if I don't like the job. I'm a man. It ain't about me liking my job. It's about me working a job that will give me the resources so that I can provide the basic things for my children. First of all, we're not even going to talk about the extra things. We're just going to talk about the basic things like a roof over their head and food for them to eat and clothes on their body and health care for their bodies if they get ill. We're talking about time being spent where that child gets to actually look at the father who created them and have that father show them what love looks like so that they don't grow up empty, hungry, and searching for prosthetics to give them love. And they wind up with everything but love because they were given everything but love. Whew. Good God Almighty. I'm telling you today, fatherhood is manhood, and shame on you if you are failing as a father in 2023. You are a child's father. I need you to think about that for a minute, brother. You are a child's father. You remember what it was like when you were a child? You remember how much you didn't know and how much you didn't understand and how much you were really dependent upon somebody loving you and caring for you and providing for you because you didn't have the wherewithal to understand or to do those things for yourself. Later on in life, you begin to realize that a child deserves a father. And maybe your father wasn't in your life. We acknowledge that, but we do not make that an excuse or a permission slip for you to duplicate what was done to you to your own children. That's a tragedy that should never happen. You are a child's father. Might I mention a child that you enjoyed making, by the way? Yeah. Well, when you was making that baby, even though you might didn't know you was making a baby, you was doing what it takes to make a baby. Oh, you enjoyed it. It felt good. You liked it. You went back for seconds and thirds and fourths and fifths. But then when the news came that you were going to be a father, something in you sunk in the pit of your stomach. That's when you knew. That's when you knew that you had more boy in you than you had man in you. That's when you knew. And from that moment, your exit strategy, your drifting began, your distance began, and oftentimes you would take it out on the mom, make her the victim, make her the reason, when the reason really is you never really wanted to be a father. You just wanted to somebody's mother. You just wanted to lay with somebody's daughter. But folks, men, we have to deal with the reality that you are somebody's father, brother. And whatever life you had before that child was born, let me tell you, man to man, that life has to be altered, or should be altered if you got any man in you. Any man that makes a child or has children and continues to live the same exact life after his children are born is running away from manhood. And he's clutching and cleaving to what it means to be a boy because he simply doesn't want to grow up. He doesn't want to be responsible. He doesn't want to take responsibility. And I'm not talking about a relationship with the mother. I'm talking about your responsibility to the child and the children that you have procreated. See, fatherhood is manhood. And manhood means providing financially for your children. Manhood means providing emotionally for your children. And let me say this, manhood means providing spiritually for your children. Financially, emotionally, spiritually. And there are many, many men who have children who are not providing in any of these areas, or they are providing at a subpar level, financially, emotionally, and spiritually. And I want to throw this out here because I know I'm already making some of you dudes mad and upset, but listen, you won't say I didn't tell you the truth. You won't say you didn't have a man there to put it out there so you can learn it and hear it, because I'm giving it to you right here, right now. Be man enough to listen to it and be man enough to do something about it, where you level up, where you check yourself. We all want to be men so bad, but we don't want to embrace what it takes to be a man. Fatherhood is manhood. And yes, I'm a little bothered. I don't know if you can tell, but I'll make it clear. I'm a little bothered. I'm a little bothered because there is no legitimate reason, if you're a healthy man who's well able to work and provide, and you got time for everything else that you want to do. You got time to put rims on your car. You got time to keep your car clean. You got time to go to the football games and the basketball games. You got time to play video games. You got time to go to the club, and you got time to smoke weed and get drunk and stay high and party and do whatever you want to do. You got time to do everything you want to do, but you don't have any time for your children. But you want somebody to call you a man. Get mad if we don't respect you as a man. Get mad if we don't declare that you are a man. But how can we call you a man when you won't man up and be a father to your children? And most of you who fit into this particular category are even guilty of the child or your children spending more time with the mother than they do with you. Some of you hardly ever see your children, and y'all live in the same city. You live in the same town as your children, and you rarely ever see them. And when you do, it's usually when the mother posts a picture on Facebook or Instagram. Come on, brothers. Now, this ain't something we can pat you on the back for. And this is the reason why I'm coming at you the way that I'm coming at you, because it is shame on you. And I don't use the word shame very often, but I'm hoping that you will be shame enough to look at yourself in the mirror and say, you know what? I didn't like what he said, but he's absolutely right. I'm failing my children. There is no reason why, brothers, that you should be anything less than a full-time father. And I'm not meaning a full-time father where your kids are with you 24 hours a day. I'm talking about a full-time father financially, emotionally, spiritually, where you are full-time in their lives. You're engaged, you're locked in, you're plugged in. Ain't nobody got to ask you to do nothing or beg you to do nothing, because you love your children. They don't have nothing to do with the baby mama. It has everything to do with the baby's father. It really does show what kind of man you are. Not your car, not your clothes, not your jewelry, not your bling bling. Come on. That does not define your manhood. Your manhood is epitomized by the way you care for your children, not somebody else's children, your flesh and blood. And there's no reason why you should not be a full-time father providing what your children need. But instead, the community has to take care of your children. Yeah, I'm going to talk about it. Her family got to take care of your children. Absolute strangers who don't even know you got to take care of your children. And last but not least, the church got to take care of your children. And listen, I ain't mad at your children. I ain't mad at the baby mama. I ain't even mad at you, because guess what? We gonna reap the blessing by taking care of your children. Best believe that. We gonna reap the blessing, and we gonna reap the harvest because of our love and compassion, because of our desire to take care of your children. Blessings that you could have, blessings that you are supposed to have, blessings that belong to you, but you don't qualify for them because you don't even care for your own seed. but you want somebody to call you a man. From one man to another man. Fatherhood is manhood. Let me say it again. Fatherhood is manhood. And shame on you if you are not being the kind of father that every child deserves. I'm praying for you. And it's not a sympathy prayer, it's a wake-up prayer. A prayer that something will get a hold of you and shake the nonsense out of you. Because one day your children are going to be grown. And it ain't about what nobody's going to tell them concerning you. It's going to be about their memories. It's going to be about them not seeing you and not having you around when it mattered most. Fathers, men, brothers, take care of your children. Shouldn't take a court system. Shouldn't require the government being involved. What happened to your heart? Something is dead in you, Dad, when you can live your life and not provide for your children. Something's dead in you. And I don't care how much weed you smoke. I don't care how much liquor you drink to get drunk. You're never going to silence it. Because that's what God put in every one of us as men. Fatherhood is manhood. Shame on you if you're not being a father because you don't want to be a man. Do better. Your kids deserve better. Peace out.